George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Time to tap in now.
You are now tapped in.
Peace to the family. This edition of Spiritual Shit is brought to you by me, because I fucking did this shit. So give me love. Give me love. Fuck it, you know? I want fucking love for doing this shit. No, I'm just playing. So, Spiritual Shit is a segment that I created just to have fun and also enlighten people in how, you know, spiritual works for people who just probably new to this, don't know how shit work, and then turn on YouTube for their spiritual guidance, and then you are fucked, right? Because now you gotta listen to these people hit you with the mumbo jumbo, and now you don't know what the fuck they talking about, but you imagine that they know what they talking about, so you just sit and wait and hope that these points kind of connect. Let me help you out. These motherfuckers never get to a point where they ever make any sense. They just hold you at bated breath, moment to moment, and you just shadow project your greatness on them. So let's remove all shadow projection and let's get into some spiritual shit where I'm gonna go point for point, and you can take notes, you can laugh, you can watch it, listen to it. I don't know how you gonna receive it, but I'm gonna just go for what I know, and let's go. First point: nobody is coming to save you. And I don't care how pretty they are, I don't care how many subscribers they get, I don't care how many people they link up with, I don't care what is the scenario for which they're presenting an aesthetic that presents themselves as somebody that is going to help you in your spiritual journey. Do they know how many dicks you have sucked in the back alleys that you have sucked dick at, fellas? You get in these, like, see, I'm gonna tell y'all, I did this reading in Columbus, and I met this dude. He was a barber. You know how when you getting your hair cut, motherfuckers be like, all right, what you do? And I'd be like, well, I'm an astrologer, YouTube this. I'd be like, oh yeah, you gonna have to read my chart one day, homie. I'm like, for sure. And you know, he's like, man, I really want a reading too. I'm gonna call you. So he set up a reading or whatever. I'm like, yeah, so let's meet me at the mall. We can do it at the food court at the mall or whatever. He like, all right, bet. So I'm reading this chart and shit. Middle of the chart, he stopped me. He said, man, for real, I was thinking that this was going to help me with my problem. I said, what's your problem? He said, man, just really like having sex with transsexuals. And I'm just like, I don't know, fam. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know if I can help you. Like, I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if I can help you with that. I just don't like. And then I just kind of was just like, oh my God, like, but when I tell you that this dude was so fucking handsome that he didn't have to have sex with dudes. He could, like, y'all, he probably somebody, like, he had kids. You would have never even thought. That shit scared me, because I'm like, I know he gonna leave this reading, like, because even at the mall, he was pulling chicks. Like, he was one of them type of dudes. He'd be, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, Yeah, I can understand why 10% of the men father 90% of the children, right? I get it. Right? Cuz you got to be a bold ass type of individual to really be out here. Long story short, as a psychic, you can't be prepared for what a person is coming at you with, and if you doing backdoor alley shit, then don't expect for me to be like, oh, I know all about that shit. See, the problem is, like, I don't fucking know, fam. I did not even know that you had a problem with juggling balls, my guy. Like, I don't see it as a problem. First of all, that's the thing. Like, if you juggle balls, then that's how you give it. That's how you live life. I've been taught that, and I've learned that you can't judge people for the shit that they do. Now, the reason I say all of that to say people judge themselves for the things that they do, and then they want to get a reading for the bullshit that they doing. And it's like, first of all, it's probably not bullshit. If you a homosexual, then just be a homosexual. The problem was he was a homosexual, but he wanted to be in a relationship with women too. He wanted to be a dad and be, He-Man and shit. And he wanted to get a reading for me to help absolve him from that, when it's just like, bro, all I can do is go dress shopping with you. Like, we at the mall. Let's go to Macy's and see what size goddamn sundress fits you, fam. Cause I can't help you be authentic. No psychic, no reader, he thought that the astrology reading was going to bring about a level of authenticity within him. And I'm saying, bruh, I can't do that. Let's go to Rainbow and what kind of heels you like? Let's go to Charlotte Russe and let's go shoe shopping, my guy. Let's drop the facade, right? Anyways, nobody is coming to save you. You are here to save yourself. Nobody is going to magically enlighten you when you watch a video. These people have scammed themselves into millions of dollars, millions of views, and here you are still sitting on your bed crying at night. You know Sadhguru's videos word for word. You know them more than you know a future song. But you haven't translated into the point of application. Because the things that these people are saying cannot be applied. It's more of mumbo jumbo, flim flam, scams. Have you waited on bated breath for the next thing to happen? And even deeper, I heard that some of these spiritual people want you to get the fucking shot, fam. They be out here like, well, actually, what I said about meditating, I really didn't mean that. Instead of meditate, how about we vaccinate? And now, you like, how could Sadhguru say this? And he probably wasn't shit from the beginning. You shadow projected. See, shadow projection is twofold. You can shadow project your negative energy, and you can shadow project your positive energy. When you shadow project your positive energy, where you are the leader, where you are the speaker, you waste time and energy projecting your admiration onto a person like Sadhguru, when the reality is you should be the one speaking from your authenticity and not listening to him. You should be figuring out how it is for you to put your shit out there in the level for which you going to put it out. There is no enlightener. Nobody gives a fuck about you when they're doing the things that they're doing. They can only think about themselves if you really saw it and thought about it. It's only you that do the shadow projection that does the work for them to say, oh, well, this person is deep. This person is healing. If I listen to them, I am healed. That is not doing the work. Free your mind and your ass will follow. If you are willing to open up your mind. Because this is what happens. Like my man who got the reading. You probably are bisexual, homosexual, you like guys, you like having sex with guys, but you're not able to converse and have the conversation and just talk about the shit. So since you're not able to talk about it, it creates shadow for which your mind isn't free. Thus, your ass is somewhat stagnant and backed up, no pun intended. So if you're not able, like, the point of life is to be spiritually free and to be liberated from all concepts. The main concepts that we deal with are the things that we do that we are ashamed of. And since you are ashamed of some shit, you sit in your shame and then you like, well, I listen to Hood Mystic. What work have you done to free yourself from your shame? Fuck listening to me. Listening to me don't mean shit. If you ain't able to free your mind, elevate yourself, do some chakra work, journal in your fucking shadow work journal, get some revelations. Y'all sat here and saw me have a whole revelation about myself. Because I'm trying to understand myself in this shit. It's nothing that I can say that's going to magically happen from just listening to me. Even deeper, I don't even want that to be the case, because I don't never want it to be a point where it's like, I take showers for y'all. I don't take showers for nobody. I don't eat for nobody. I eat for me. I take a shower to clean my body, meaning I'm willing and able and just strong enough to do my own work. I'm doing it, hopefully, like that people is willing to do their own work and we can have their conversations and we can have the breakthroughs surrounding us doing our own work, coming with our own shit. I don't want nobody to say, well, Hood, I'm doing exactly what you did. No, don't do that. That's going to get you into situations and circumstances that I don't even want for you, fam. I want you to figure out what your soul is telling you. I feel like grounding and root chakra work are ways for which your soul can speak to you outside of what anybody is telling you. Free your mind and your ass will follow is a deeper way of saying you imagining that everything is happening based upon your conscious, like the shit that you're hiding, the shit that you're refusing to do work on. And then you want to link up with people and talk to people and work with people, knowing damn well you haven't done the healing work. Knowing damn well that you ain't willing to change, but you hoping that a person will accept you. Now, what will happen, the story that I gave earlier about how women would reject me when I only wanted to deal with like pussy and they could kind of peep it that what I was wanting. Generally, what I'm noticing is that when people want to deal with you for the space of you healing them, that's the same way of you to be like, all right, I ain't dealing with you, man, because you want me to heal you, when the reality is that you're supposed to heal your fucking self. Or be in a space where you can, unless you want to be my lover. Because if we friends, right? But when we in a relationship, now we got an obligation to heal one another. And like Marvin Gaye said, we do this healing sexually, right? And if you ain't ready to go there with a person, then stop acting like how my words gonna heal you. My words is like the tool. You can't use the tool. You got to apply the tool to what you working on. Free your mind and your ass will follow. Y'all think that spirituality is easy. Y'all think that paying a certain amount of money for a certain service or a certain reading or getting a certain book is going to be y'all end all be all. And then the fuckery shit that y'all do, y'all don't want to address and deal with that. Y'all don't want to address the nasty shit that you doing. The horrible shit that you doing. But then when you tap in and tune into spirituality, a person is telling you, oh, all you need to do is look, it's a full moon. Let's do this and let's do this ritual and let's do this, that, and the third. And ooh, it feels so good being here. I'm so happy that y'all tuned in and tapped in. No, that's not spiritual. Spirituality is not something that's easy, because the reality of making it hard is that you got to be present. Being present is very difficult because you constantly got thoughts, emotions, energies, frequencies, disruptions, distractions that are taking you from your point of centering yourself. Now you in the fight or flight, you getting triggered, you going through this, you're going through that, and now 10 times out of 10, all the spiritual shit that we discuss thrown out the window. Because it wasn't never real from you in the beginning. Your spirituality was based upon who you listen to. Your spirituality is based upon the things that you have collected over the years. The people that you talked with, the people that you rubbed shoulders with. And this somehow makes you spiritual. You spiritual. All of your occurrences and all of these particular things, but your ability to be present, your ability to ground, your ability to heal the ones that you love, kind of shaky and shifty. Why? Because these are the things that are not easy. These are the things that are difficult. And when it gets difficult, people just kind of forsake and just kind of shun spirituality, because spirituality is very hard. To sit and activate your chakras and keep your chakras activated, meaning that you don't exist in fight or flight. Even more so, to sit and understand your chakras and understand your emotional life, to identify your emotions, to just stop saying, well, I ain't feeling it today. What the fuck do that mean? You ain't feeling what? Do you know the emotions for which you experience? Have you identified the emotions? Have you gotten to the root to why you feel the way that you feel? Do you allow the way that you feel disrupt every fucking good thing that you got going for you? Do you say, oh, I want to do this, and then something happens, and then what happened to the shit that you said you was going to do? I ain't feel like doing it. See, you thought just by saying it was going to be alakazam, walakazoom, and spirituality is the hardest fucking thing on the planet. Because a majority of people, they don't even want to be spiritual. When I was doing this shit a long time ago, all of these celebrity influencers and Instagram pages and meme pages, that spiritual miracle and, doing the shit that they're doing, they didn't even exist. So now when you get on Instagram and you search for shit and you find pages and you be like, well, I follow the shadow work Instagram page and they be giving us daily memes on shadow work. That's me doing shadow work. No, the fuck is not. I follow the polygamy pages where they talk about how the fuck you following a polygamy page and you ain't bringing polygamy into your relationship? You just in polygamy forums and looking at everybody being polygamous. Because being an actual polygamist is hard fucking work. It's easy to look at it and observe it and talk your shit. Well, I haven't never done it yet, but I'm looking into it, looking as. That's easy to do. Right? To talk about your psychic powers and your psychic visions down to the point that is become one with you, that's a hard thing to do. Because y'all will accept, it's a lot of people who are crazy, but have alchemized their craziness into a form of a psychic vision, but it ain't a psychic vision, they're just still crazy. Because the only thing they ever did what was easy. So, this idea, this notion that spirituality is easy and all I gotta do, y'all can fucking... I listen to Bobby Hemmett lectures all day, but did you buy the books that he mentioned? Did you do the rituals that he put down? Did you apply the teachings, or did you just listen to him on YouTube because you could? Because if you started to, now you got to buy the books and now you got to spend your money. That's hard. Some of them books ain't cheap. You ain't going to spend $100 on a book, but you will spend $100 on some goddamn loud from the dispensary. Because spirituality is very difficult. You can, like, when you go to my home and you look at all of the books that I purchased and things of that nature, not to brag or boast, but you could also say, damn, this boy done wasted a lot of money on these fucking books. That could have been goddamn blunts. That I could have, all of these books, I could have bought goddamn ounces from the dispensary, right? Spirituality is difficult. And then when you start to actualize and do the readings and do the help and deal with the community, they don't even want to be dealt with the fact that, hey, you got inner child wounds that you have not dealt with. Yes, you grown. Yes, you have a pussy. Yes, you got abs. Yes, you got muscles. Yes, these girls will give you pussy, young man, but that is not the work. The work is to figure out where you need to do shadow work at and begin to improve yourself. Because it's real easy to point out the things that I do good. But when I look at my fucking fourth house and my fourth house is in shambles, that's where I really got to do my work. That's where I'm really tested at. That's where I'm really having to not. That's where my fight or flight and my hormones is like, ugh. And I can talk with the best of them. But when I'm doing my own shadow work, it's like, oh shit, I know that I ain't perfect. I know that I need work. And let me deal with that shit. Let me address this shit. Let me work with this shit. As soon as I get off this goddamn live, I'm working on my shit. Now, what I'm coming into in 2022 when I'm doing readings and I'm talking to people is I'm segueing far away from just, blowing smoke up your ass. Because, you want somebody you pay money for somebody to blow smoke up your ass. You don't pay money for somebody to challenge you and to give you shadow work and things of that nature. So it's not where you get in a reading to get to your adjustments, because honestly, you don't need a reading. You need to take care of the shadow shit that you are not taking care of. Your fuckery. You know that I don't know if you're on fuckery, because I'm not Inspector Gadget. And if I knew, I just wouldn't care. You want me to just say, okay, you're perfect. Well, no, that's not how it works. Because to get a reading is also to say that you need some form of adjustment. You need some change. And what I mean by tell me I'm perfect is mean that, oh, we're such an alignment. This person is giving me everything that I need to hear at this particular moment. Because if that's the case, then you also understand that human beings without shadow work are under a deep hypnosis psychosis that everything they do is right and exact. And everybody else is the problem. So when you invite them into a psychic and a spiritual setting, is a big, bigger orbit. Now you want your psychic to tell you, you perfect and everybody the problem. So it'd be like, well, I'm going through this situation with my husband. What's wrong with him? Why would you imagine me to assume that it's a problem with your husband because I'm your psychic? Do y'all see how that work? What if the person that's getting the reading, that paid the money to get the reading, is the wrong person? They're just dead ass wrong. But because they paid me, I can't just be like, well, you on some bullshit, sis. Actually, he ain't the problem. I think the problem is you. Now, as you know, a money-making person ain't going to say that, because ultimately, right, that's going to ruin the money that I'm making. But I'm saying, going into 2022, you can't just be imagining that you perfect and being told that you perfect and imagining that that's the work. Even deeper, getting readings is not the work. You know where this comes from? This comes from being a Christian. You know what being a Christian comes from? Being a Christian comes from being a Catholic. What's the root of Catholicism? The root of Catholicism is indulgences. What are indulgences? Indulgences are where people go to the Catholic Church, pay money to be absolved from their sins. It fast forwarded into when you go to church, you give tithes. And you go give your tithes as some form of measuring to have good luck spiritually. But 10 times out of 10, it's just a hustle for the church to get money. Right? So, boom. We then transferred that into our occult conscious thing as to, let me purchase my spirituality. So, getting readings from this person, getting readings from that person, getting readings from this person. And it's like, I am doing the work from getting readings from people. Right? Getting readings could never be the work, because I might tell you to jump up and down. This person might tell you to jump side to side. And this person might say, run around in a circle. So how the fuck is you going to jump up and down, jump side to side, and run around in a circle, and then be like, well, I'm trying to, get my spiritual life right by doing what? Jumping up and down, jumping side to side, and running in a circle? Well, who told you to do that? Well, this person told me to do this, and this person told me to do that, and this person told me to do that. Never once did you think that that's crazy as fuck. Never once did you think that, really, like, if you have one reader that you trust is good, but ultimately a reader is someone like a therapist, meaning that you should only go to a reader if you're having a difficult time. Meaning that I want to pull you out of difficult time, and once you get out that difficult space, I don't want you dealing with me all the time. Why would I want to, it's like a doctor is only going to deal with people when they break their leg, right? So essentially, you don't want that person's leg to be broke. So no news is good news. Feel me? You understanding what I'm doing, applying what I'm teaching you, you raising Kundalini, bringing about a level of dealing with yourself. You don't have no fucking problems past that. The only problem is when you remove that spiritual intelligence that's within you, and now you trying to figure it out through reading tarot cards and doing astrology and doing all this stuff, when the reality is that you should have been doing that shit the whole entire time. Don't just come to it once some shit go bad to you, because 10 times out of 10 it's too late. So getting readings is not the work. The work is what you do persistently, consistently in the realms of spirituality. But why would you do that? Because spirituality is not easy. To be consistent in a spiritual practice, to say I meditate every single day consistently, or not even meditate consistently, I'm just trusting my intuition consistently. Maybe my intuition tells me not to meditate. Maybe my intuition tells me to do something, but you know your intuition versus your psychosis. Your psychosis is damaging, destructive. Your intuition is growth. It's like to reach out to some person and to share positive energy with them, to say, you know what, I was thinking about you, and let me help you with what you need help with, because I know that you need help with this. As a goddess, as a healed goddess, you operate in the energy of Anuket, providing prosperity. Now, you're not going to provide that prosperity if you are unhealed, if you are hurt. To heal yourself, to not be hurt, is very difficult. To be spiritual is extremely easy, because all you need to do is get one of them cheap ass ring lights, get a fucking camera, position it in such a way, and click go live, and then hit people with esoteric mumbo jumbo. That's easy. To say I'm going to do the work and to, not rely on a person's consultations to get into the nitty gritty of some shit. Now you have to unmask yourself. Now you have to get into the root of your drives and who you are as a spiritual being and live in that shit. If you are a healer, then heal. If you are a giver, then give. If you are a doctor, then do some doctor shit. If you are a stripper, then start stripping. If you a hoe, then start hoeing. If you a man, then be a man. If you a God, then be a God. But who you are, you have to remove all of the facts of the mask and the personas and the personalities that you imagine yourself to be. And the stress and the anxiety is from you trying to be two people, your real authentic self and this fake ass person. And your real authentic self is in pain. So you can't deal with your real authentic self because your real authentic self is your inner child, your abandonment issues and your expectations and your refusal to do the work and your refusal to heal. So since you don't want to heal, you put on a mask, you put on makeup, you dress up that mask, you show off your ass and you hope that everything is everything and you hope that I'm not going to perceive past what you are showing me. Is that your real hair? It's not. Okay. I don't see that. I don't see that. Is that your real face? That's not. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to move that thought out of my mind and then talk to you like a real normal human being. See, a rational person is not going to be able to handle that. It'd be the same way if I showed up here with this YouTube video and I had on a white boy wig and I had on makeup to make myself have a light skin. And you see these little blemishes that I got, these little wrinkles. I just threw some shit on there to cake this shit up. And then I'm just like, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Venus conjunct Pluto. And the motherfuckers would be like, bro, I can't take you serious now. You got on the white boy wig and you got on makeup. I would have to just continuously unmask myself and get to the real crux of who I am, as opposed to having people accept me for who I want to show them. It's a real big difference. The work is in unmasking yourself. The work is to not fucking show me this pretty, beautiful face that ain't real. It might attract me into some shit, but now that I sit here and get here, and now this is all am I getting, you ain't never going to take it off? You ain't going to never show me the real? Because no, when I show you the real, I'm going to show you a part of me that isn't healed. And when I show you the part of me that isn't healed is a very wild, untamed energy. Right? And I want to be accepted. I want to be accepted for who I'm presenting you, who I am. I don't want to be accepted for my authentic self. And the reason why I don't want to be accepted for my authentic self is because I haven't accepted myself at an authentic level. I look at my face, I look at my hair, and I see somebody that is ugly. So I feel as though I need to put on makeup and I need to put on fake hair so then I can look pretty. Because I haven't accepted my natural state of being. When the reality is you're doing a lot of work to be somebody that you are not. And the work is deeper into unmasking yourself. Stop showing people who you aren't and start showing people who you are. And if you haven't accepted yourself, then that means that this is where the work is. Learning how to accept your authentic self. It don't matter who's seeing you and who like you or who love you or who judging you. If you haven't developed the true love for yourself, if you look in your mirror and you are a beautiful goddess and you say, I'm ugly, I need some makeup on, or my braids is looking all crazy, I don't like my hair looking all like how it grow out of my hair nappy, right? That's the worst thing that ever been told to us. Because now we look at how our hair grow out of our scalp as nappy. When it is representing the DNA spiral. That's what it is. It ain't nappy. It is representing the cosmos. It's representing your DNA. It's representing an antenna that connects you to the source. And so for my whole life, I seen the society tell women that they weren't good enough by y'all young, but before weaves and quick weaves and that, they said, no, you need to get a perm. And so all of the women was wearing perms, wraps, and all of this shit, but the perm was ruining their brains. And also the perm was disconnecting them from spirit, because your hair is not even your fucking hair. Your hair is your antenna. So when you put something over your hair, you are thus blocking your antenna. So it's not to say that your hair is ugly or nappy. It just is. It's your antenna. But these judgments that you have toward yourself can somewhat block you from your spiritual growth. But, you know, your judgments, they are also parts of your life where you aren't actually healing. What's difficult about the spiritual journey is that you got to stand alone in your spiritual truth. And I said everything that I said, and I know that a motherfucker is going to hear everything that I say and be triggered from all triggered. People gonna look at their social media and see how they go about themselves and feel like I'm talking directly to them. But here I am standing alone on just what I'm on. I'm just here to help people who can hear and help people that can see. Because you might be confused out here. You might be trying to get accepted by these fucking weird ass strangers, and you haven't even accepted yourself. I don't give a fuck who accept me. I don't give a fuck who love me. Because I really do fuck with myself. I really do love myself. I really do trust myself. I really have done the work and will continue to do the work. And the only place that it may lead me is to stand by my goddamn self. Is nobody who can sit, that I can sit here and say, oh, this motherfucker gets me. This person completely understands me. I've not met that person yet. Never have I met that person. When I'm in my truth, when I'm in my authenticity, I ultimately know that I gotta stand by my damn self. Because the moment that I start speaking truth is the moment that people say, Hood, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. You said that I need to do healing on this shit because I wear makeup and I don't like showing my hair. I don't like that. I know that you're going to say that. I know that you want to sit in your fucking ignorance. I know that you want to be degraded by society. I know that you want society to clap you up for your ignorance. You know, I know that. But I got to stand alone in my truth and say, no, you damaging yourself, sister. You damaging yourself. That is not the way to go. Ain't no rhyme or reason for you to not show up in your authentic self. Because when you show up in your authentic self, to me, that is beautiful. But if you don't see the beauty in your authenticity, that's some unhealed trauma shit that you got to actually go through. Because I know for a fact, you can stand in front of a woman and tell her that she's beautiful 1,000,000 days in a row. If she don't say it to herself, it don't fucking matter what you say. Okay? And another reason that spirituality is very difficult is due to temptation or the idea of temptation. See, temptation to a weak-minded person is the most fundamental aspect of their spiritual pathway. For which, if temptation is a part of your spiritual appetite, you're not even on the spiritual path. I'll give you an example. As a vegan, you should be able to look at a steak and look at it sizzle and sear and still see a fucking dead body, you know, on that goddamn plate. You can see a chicken wing seasoned to perfection. You can see buffalo chicken wing dip. And at the same time, you can say, that's a fucking dead ass, spoiled, rotten ass chicken y'all eating with a whole bunch of hot sauce and cream cheese. I'm good on that. You can walk into a room and smell bacon sizzling and be like, is that a dead fucking pig y'all cooking on that goddamn stove? Smelling like that? With all them chemicals and fat? You know, a pig is 99.7% identical to a human based upon the fat and tissue. So eating a pig is the same as eating a human. Eating a human, you wouldn't even be classified. You would go to jail. You would be a fucking cannibal. So tell me how it's against the law for me to eat a human being, but it's lawful for me to eat a human. And it, even deeper, you couldn't walk into a goddamn farm and take a bite out of a pig. 10 times out of 10, you wouldn't want to because you would be disgusted by the smell and how the pig is carrying itself. Thus, how could I ever be tempted from eating? How could I be tempted to eating a fucking hog's ass? So you could progress this thought process into Venus conjunct Pluto and the man who is tempted by the woman, right? And be like, well, say for instance, you got a husband and he is tempted by a woman. That temptation is not really a temptation. That temptation is a truth. That nigga don't even love you. Think about it. Because if he could be tempted into having sex with another woman, then he would also be a vegan that's tempted to eat meat. See, to love this is something that I know, you progress into love. And when you fully start to love a woman, it's like, I can't love nobody else. You could be the most, and when in the beginning of my spiritual journey, I was tempted because I didn't love my wife the way that I love her now. You see how that works? You love your wife as a progression. And if you don't progress in that love, it's always going to be a fat ass on the left side of your fucking peripheral. Ooh, what is them? Them in some leggings? What did you, ooh. What is that? Pheromones? And do you know how I know that girls would give me, do you want to know how I know that women would fuck me? Because when dudes is my homeboy, you know what happens with these girls? They fuck the dudes who my homeboy. If these dudes was not my homeboy, they would not be getting none of this pussy from these girls. They would never, ever smell the pussy. But somehow being connected to me, a woman can do her psychological deductions and reductions to think, well, I ain't gonna have sex with Hood, but at least I can have sex with his homeboy. And I say all of that to say, I know that the temptation is out there and the temptation ain't fake, and I'm making up shit in my mind and shit like that, because I be talking to my wife like, babe, am I tripping, or is she giving me pussy energy? Like she want me to fucking crash with no insurance. No, you ain't tripping, babe. I think she wants you to crash, go 180 down the one way with no brakes. She wants you to down that pussy. Okay, babe, I need to do more work in loving you and build our relationship, because this is crazy. And trust me, this is years and years and years and years and years of cycles and patterns for me to come to this obvious conversation that I'm having with y'all. Temptation is a result in your lack of love for your present situation, for which, if you truly love to be a vegan, no steak will tempt you. If you truly loved your wife, I don't care. Y'all know the type of women that I had to be like, you know what, sis? I'm good. I love my wife. I'm good. I love my family. Y'all would be sitting here like, Kyrie, you stupid. Kyrie, you is stupid. Kyrie, you don't make no fuck. You should have hit that ass. I would have hit that ass if I was you. I sit with myself, boy, you done let that ass go. But see, the truth is that was only a result of me loving my wife, because even deeper psychologically, the woman outside of the relationship perceives the man in the relationships and says, I want what that woman has. Because women don't operate as individual planets. All women operate in the same boat. So when you are good to one woman, you invite other women energy into your aura, into your orbit. But these are Jezebels. These are mistresses. These are people who want to disrupt and invade your orbit. You only know it till it's too late. You only know it until you deep and diving into your temptation. And then 2 months later, oh, hell nah, nigga. You ain't gonna be fucking me and acting like you spiritual. No, you was fucking me last weekend at the hotel room. And you know, all of this type of energy. But you don't know that at first. It's all Hotep King, peace and blessings King. I just love your work and you so spiritual. And I love your wife. Your wife is so deep. And then 10 times out of 10, you look forward, fast forward. Oh, you done let the homie smash. So when you was hotepping, you should have just said, well, I just want you to smash these cheeks, because I want what your wife has. But that's not a conversation that most people can have. Thus creates mistress energy, temptation energy. But as a man, you got to be fucking wise enough to see all of this shit and how this shit is going to play out. Can't no bitch seduce me. Even when I'm seduced, I get fucking triggered. Don't seduce me. You know I'm married. I don't like that. You'll get on the block list. Get on the block list. See, the difference between me and other people is I'm not trying to be deep. I'm just normal. See, when you a fake deep motherfucker, you got real temptation. You got real distractions from your purpose. When you are aligned to your purpose and you know that your structure and your foundation is bent upon your fucking wife and your family, can't nothing like you. It's like, how you going to refoundate what I'm building? You can't take the foundation away, because if you take the foundation away, I got to create a whole goddamn new situation. And I don't got time for that. Okay? So if you fake, you will be tempted by these women. If you a fake vegan, you will be tempted by some steak. But to do the work is to get into the science of, why am I vegan? Oh yeah, I don't like eating dead flesh. So as long as you, however much you want to season that pussy up and leg it, whatever the fuck, I'm completely dedicated to this spiritual kingdom and foundation of masculine and feminine energy. It's not a facade with me. But ultimately, the question comes within your spiritual journey is not about what you're talking about. Because I done said a whole bunch of shit. I done a whole bunch of shit. But who I am is a husband to my wife and a father to my children. That is where my compassion lies. No matter what I'm experiencing, if my children are suffering, I suffer with them. If my wife is suffering, I suffer with them. These are part of my soul contracts. So part of my work to do down here is to figure this part out, because a large part of me is saying, well, I'm spiritual. I haven't figured out why isn't I'm in a goddamn Lear jet somewhere. But that's not part of my soul contract. That's not a part of my mission down here. Part of my mission is to figure out who I am and develop compassion, which is the way for ascended master or a bodhisattva. And because of that, it makes it a lot more easier, and it makes it a lot more me willing to know my personal purpose and to deal with the things that I need to deal with and not escape it and run from it and be confused as to why things aren't working out the way that it is for me. Because ultimately, part of my journey is understanding who I am within my family. The things that my son says to me are the most triggering, emotional things that anybody can say to me. And that's because that's the work that I need to do. For which, if my son was going to say something to me and it wasn't going to inspire me to do work, then it is not like, let me rephrase that. If my son was going to say something to me and it didn't trigger me, it just wouldn't trigger me. But if my son can say something to me that triggers me, then I could easily say, boy, shut up. Go play with your brothers, or get out of my face, or internalize it as to why did that trigger me? What work do I need to do to better my situation in here? Because obviously my child is a reflection of me, and he's going to speak to me in the way that I need to be spoken to, because ain't nobody going to talk to me the way that Azor talked to me. He going to call me on my bullshit because that is my teacher. That's my leader, right? And it's like, when you a family and you got kids, it's hard for you to conceptualize that you giving birth to your leader or the person that's going to guide you or help you into this shit. You just think it's your kid. You just think that that's the person that you're supposed to protect and guide and support and all of that. But when I think about it, it's like, damn, shit that he be telling me, it be making me feel some type of way. And I'm just like, I could get mad at this little boy, or I can get to work. And really, he be inspiring me because he the one who, I can't be fake with my son, because my son gonna always be there and see me and be perceiving the shit like, and he only gonna speak it from a real space, from an authentic space. Because I'm gonna tell you, until you have children, you are never loved. Your children are the people who love you. Think about it. Your children love you unconditionally. And so the things that they say to you come from an unconditional space. It's only from your hierarchical position of parent that you begin to chastise and treat them bad for them triggering you emotionally, as opposed to you saying, well, if nobody else is going to give me guidance, then who's going to give me guidance? Well, then your children are. If nobody is going to give me love, then where's the love coming from? I'm talking about the tough love, the hard love. Where does it come from? Comes from your children. Okay? Now, I stated this a little earlier, but this is something that I have to do. I also have a book, not a book like I'm selling, but mad books in my room that I need to get rid of, right? Because part of my ego is these books have elevated me and brought me to a place of elevation. But at a certain level, they just taking up space, because how can I say that I am the book, but then rely on all of these books for references, bibliography, research, etc., right? All of the bullshit that I tell myself that I need these books for. Now, books could be my level of hoarding. Some of y'all spiritually hoard through readings, through videos, through useless data and useless notes. And you just collect notes and collect information and collect readings and tarot cards and all the, let's not forget crystals. I got all my crystals. I got all my this. I got all my that. I got all of my beads. You got a certain area within your spiritual life where you have been hoarding. You surround yourself by all of this stuff spiritual. What's the key though? You are the spiritual apparatus. You are the book. Okay? Since we can't escape what we are, we can carry it with us everywhere we go. But ultimately, are you a result of your collection? or are you a result of your giving? Now, if you don't give at the highest level, it is because you are wounded. At a child level, you have abandonment issues and you weren't loved properly by a masculine energy as a child. You were taken advantage of by masculine energy, and so now you have to protect yourself quite naturally, because the people who are supposed to protect you were the people that took advantage of you. So now you have to protect yourself. So you protect yourself through your knowledge, through your books, through your crystals, through your whatever the fuck you imagine yourself to that makes you spiritual. And you know, the first time you go into spirituality and you walk into like a botanica, or you know people that's spiritual, and you come over their house, they got the books, they got the shit set up, you like, wow, this motherfucker really spiritual, this motherfucker doing it, you know. And then you go to the bookstore, you might see a book, you might see a crystal. Ooh, that crystal, $20? I ain't about to spend $20 on no crystal. Fast forward 2 years later, you that nigga, right? You got everything set up. You done spent $100 on a crystal now. You know, you big boss hog. Like, they know you in the botanica. Hey, Charmaine, welcome back. We got the crystal you ordered on pre-order. Y'all know me. You walking in there with your goddamn drapery, goddamn whatever you wearing, your dashiki flowing in the fucking air when you walk in the botanica and shit like that. Motherfuckers just know you, right? And now all of a sudden, you taking that as your spiritual identity, right? You taking this as your spiritual identity when these were all tools that were to bring you into the understanding of you being the spiritual apparatus, you being the instrument, you being the device, you being the crystal, you being the dashiki, right? This is all representing you, not the things that you've bought or the things that you can afford, you know, because you know, the first time you walked into the crystal store and said, oh, y'all want $100 for that incense sensor? Man, I don't think I can afford it. Then you got your income taxes. You put out a special budget for the fucking botanica. Tell me I'm lying. When you got that lump sum of money, you did what you needed to do. You paid the bills and you like, man, I can't wait to go to this fucking botanica and ball the fuck out, right? Got all types of incense. Got all types of shit. Yeah, I told y'all I'll be back. Charge. I just put the goddamn credit card. Hey, you gonna charge this motherfucker today, boy. Just hold this credit card. I'm about to shop. Come here, incense sensor. I've been looking for you. It make the beautiful smoke. It go down in back and forth patterns. I'm gonna put my incense cones on it. Right? You know what that is, though? Let me be the first to tell you. That is a facade. That is a mask. It's a spiritual mask, but it's a facade and a mask nonetheless. Until you get to your pure spiritual energy that requires time, dedication, persistence. Y'all gonna just keep flipping y'all lump sums into the botanica, trying to buy your way into heaven. But understand, that's Christian energy masquerading as spirituality. That's reduced to Catholicism, where the Catholic priest told everybody, if you don't have money, you can't get into heaven. Now, this is a pervasive idea, a ubiquitous idea that has been pervading our minds in every aspect of our being, where we just really trying to buy our way into heaven, as opposed to doing the work. Y'all gonna have to hold this credit card because I'm about to go in and this motherfucker. Y'all might have to keep it for a couple of days. I'm about to be up in this bitch going ham. dashikis, candles, incense, herbs. What else do I need? Books. I need books. I need a book on tarot, a book on knitting. Don't ask me why. I can't sew, but I'm gonna get to it one day. Is the worst shit you could ever say to yourself in reference to the spiritual journey, because what the fuck do you gotta get to? And will you actually get there? I don't know. But how much does your guidance cost? It can cost anywhere from thousands of dollars if you're not willing to do the work. And it could cost as little as, buying a book or two. But it's all in relation to your ability to do the work that you are willing to do to connect to yourself. If I can inspire you to do that, well, it didn't cost y'all nothing to watch this video. Right? But ultimately, doing that today is not going to be you doing it next week. I can assume that y'all will be doing the connecting and grounding work, but I would guarantee that y'all probably wouldn't be. Because y'all imagine that it's a monetary value associated with everything, including your ability to tune in and tap in to your soul, to ground, to do fucking root locks and ground near a tree. That shit free, fam. We be pulling up into parks across the nation. You pull up into a park like you own that bitch, right? You just pull up in that motherfucker. They don't say nothing. They be like, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the park. Get out your car, walk around, make yourself at home. It don't cost nothing for you to come to this park. It's actually free. Look, it's all types of trees. You can, take your shoes off, ground with any one of these trees. Free of charge. You don't have no value to that. Thus, you feel like, well, I've been paying this money for this spiritual class that I'm in, and it didn't say that I needed to go to the forest and ground with trees. So it said that I need to carry this bowl of water on the top of my head and juggle. So I've been carrying this bowl of water on my head with my intentions. So I wrote my intentions down on a piece of paper. I put it on this bowl of water. I put it on my head, and I got 3 red balls. The 3 red balls, I wrote my intentions on it. And so I juggled it. And the goal is to juggle these 3 red balls without the water falling. And if the water don't fall, that means my attention is coming fast. However, if the water falls off my head, it don't mean that I'm not going to get my attention. It's just going to take a little longer. Who told you that? Yeah, I take this class. I'll be paying, it costs $3,000 for it. Yeah, so if I paid $3,000 for the class, it must be true. How could I pay $3,000 for a class and it not be actual and factual? That don't make no sense. I paid $3,000. Like, you're telling me that I could walk to a park and take my shoes off and get the same energy for free that I spent $3,000 for this class? I don't think so. I think that the person that I'm talking to that I spent this money on is going to help me way more than connecting and grounding to the earth. You crazy. So the reality of spiritual life is more based upon a facade of spirituality. It's more based upon a psychological sophistication. I put out a meme the other day and somebody commented, oh, this is so simple. Like, what was you waiting for? Me to drop some complex mathematical computations and this was going to elevate you into some spiritual shit? No, it's supposed to be simple. Like, it's dependent on relativity. I do this all the time. Me lifting my right hand require a lot of nerves and a lot of synapses and a complicated multiple. It's extremely complicated when you get into the mathematical computations of lifting my right hand like this. However, when I'm lifting my right hand like this, my mind saying lift my right hand is a simple process. To connect myself to my spirituality, yes, it might be extremely complicated and extremely mathematical and extremely scientifical. But since I am a child of the Most High, all is mine and the mind is all. I just have to learn how to utilize my mind as the instrument or as the controller for my spiritual energy. And this takes time. This takes persistence. This takes me being present, and it don't cost no money at all. $0. If you serious about your spiritual life and you serious about your spiritual growth, you ain't got to spend shit. That's the reality. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna waste none of your time. If you're willing to do this work, if you're willing to follow your intuition, if you're willing to get off the fucking rat race, if you're willing to get off the treadmill, if you're willing to let your creativity speak for you, if you're willing to develop your creativity, if you're willing to learn how to connect with people, I tell you, you can have one conversation with somebody and you could be rich for the rest of your life. What is the saying? See, y'all ain't old school. Y'all don't know what it's like to be dealing with people and talking to people. People will tell you this. It ain't what you know. It is who you know. So your 11th house is the most important house when it comes to your finances. Here you are, you working hard, you studying shit, you developing shit. You can make the world's best product, but don't nobody know who the fuck you are. And now you just sitting here in the fucking echo chamber just hoping that people hear you from some, like, I pray that they find me and hear me. Yet and still you're not working on your 11th house, putting yourself out there. I got the mystery school and people will be like, yeah, I joined the mystery school, but did you post? No, I ain't post. I just be watching what other people post. That ain't what I started the mystery school for. I posted it so you could get your voice out and kind of, you know, have an audience for the things that you have to say. Right? Put yourself out there. But put yourself out there and provide value. You know, that's kind of part of it. Trying to be sophisticated, trying to get pretty, and not really doing no work. That's going to have you looking stupid. Right? And ultimately, a lot of y'all in the spiritual community is going out sad, out here looking stupid because you refuse to evolve and you refuse to learn new information. You keep pulling from the past, and that's like pulling up goddamn skeletons and things of that nature and acting like it's a body. It's not a body, it's a skeleton. Okay? So, man, this has been a wonderful, we done made it through it together. I put a lot of energy and effort into this episode only for y'all to get some enjoyment from it, get some laughter from it. One of my main goals is that y'all laughed a little bit, laughed and learned, and then realized that you probably got a lot of work to do, which we all got a lot of work to do. It's only the people who come into my energy who imagine that they don't got a lot of work to do, for which 2022, if you imagining and you putting yourself together like, oh, I'm the fucking head honcho, I got my shit together, my spiritual life is together, whatever, you just going to get on the block list, fam. I'm not even wasting time with y'all energy in 2022. We got so much work to do that if we not working towards it and we just all kissing somebody's ass, then, you know, that fucking ass is just going to be nice and polished and ain't no work going to be done. So for the people that's really trying to do some work, congratulations, you figured it out. For the people here trying to get their ass kissed, enjoy it for while it lasts, because the ass kissing will stop very soon. But with all that being said, man, follow us on Instagram at The Hood Mystic. Follow my business page at the Columbian Exchange. Also, get your herbs, get your books, get all of the things you need to do, only if you're willing to do the work. The things that you buy from the store is not going to save you by purchasing them. I'm going to give y'all this disclaimer. If you get the voodoo cleaner and you don't use it to clean your house, how the fuck is it going to help you clean? Like, it don't even make no sense. So take a teaspoon, take a small amount of it. See, how you going to use voodoo cleaner and you don't even clean up, first of all? So part of it is you going to have a cleaning routine, meaning like what you clean up with. You don't got no cleaning supplies? Well, that's the first thing. You add a little bit of voodoo cleaner to your cleaning supplies and it cleans the energy in your home. This is something that we use in our homes whenever we want to get our prosperity in order, get our lives back in track. Whenever me and my wife somewhat disconnected, we clean with the voodoo cleaner and it does something spiritually to our surroundings. That's a product we have available at Columbian Exchange. But I'm saying this all to say, if you're not cleaning up your house, buying a goddamn voodoo cleaner is not going to clean your house vicariously through purchasing it. Nor does any of our products heal just simply because you purchase it. We put these products up because we imagine that people are ready and willing to do the work, and we just provide the spiritual tools that'll help you do the work. Now, buying the tools will not fix the house. You can utilize the tools to fix the house, but just buying the tools, I got a hammer, I got a screwdriver, I got nails, and I'm just waiting for them bitches to start doing their magic and start fixing the house. It don't work like that. So let me get up off this goddamn YouTube streets and get back to these real streets. I got some orders to fill. I got some readings to do. All of these could be accomplished and accessed at Columbian Exchange. The links will be in the descriptions. Before I get off here, be sure to check out the article. Be sure to join the mystery school. And if you have read the article and you are a part of the mystery school, go ahead and post something. Say, hey, gang, this is what I've been going through. Has anybody else been going through this? Talk, stop being fucking isolated and then imagining that your isolation and your observation is you doing the work. No, put yourself out there, fam. Better yourself. Deal with your triggers. Let's get some work done. Please hit the like, show some support. Give a shout out to Stray Panther for holding the chat down and all my chat soldiers out there, keeping that conversation lively and, letting me know, hey, hood, we can't hear you. But with that being said, man, y'all have a wonderful week and you know where to find me if you need me. I'll be in the mystery school chilling. Peace.
They portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. You see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Time to tap in now.